Blah, blah, blah. I finally went live. So I'm going to try to do the video without crying. Okay, so this morning, not this morning, but the other day, I received 2 emails, one from a young lady and one from a young man, talking about molestation and rape. One of them is still in the current situation, and the other one is out of the situation. So I told them that I would share my personal experience. So I'll start off from, I guess, the beginning. I was about 5 years old, and I was friended by some kids that was friends. You know how your moms be friends with somebody, and then there's kids that end up being friends because your mama's friends. So they were a little bit older than me. I think one was 9 and the other one was like 12. It was a boy and a girl. It was a young lady. She was a cool girl. Like, she did makeup and all that stuff, and I was a tomboy. I wanted to hang out with the boys, so it wasn't like, you know, no awkwardness. Like, we was kids, you know. And so as time went on, I turned 6, and I used to spend weekends at their house. You know, when my mama used to go to the club or whatever, I would beg to go over their house. Like, Mom, let me go over there. I used to get away with everything. They daddy loved me. I mean, it was everything it was. So, you know, being kids, you know how y'all started playing house and stuff. And, you know, me being 6, it will only go so far because I only know so much. So one time we were playing, y'all excuse me because I gotta smoke, because I'm already shaking. One time we was playing, and all of a sudden there was this urge for me to, like, turn around and be like, what is you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just felt some heavy breathing on my back, and I ain't know. I'm like, so what you doing? And he was like, nothing, just watching you. I just like to watch you. And he was the 9-year-old at the time or whatever. And so I'm playing. And next thing I know, he, like, grabbed me by my neck and pushed me against the wall. But he kisses me. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, you grow up with people like that. You are known as cousins. That's that play cousin stuff. And I'm just like, why did you just do that? But me being 6 years old, I only thought he did that because he was doing something that was normal. Like, this is something that you normally do. Well, it progressed to him saying, okay, I'm about to take my shirt off. And I'm like, he was a chubby fat boy. He was, you know, I wasn't even looking at boys like that. But I was just like, okay, it's your house, it's your room, take your shirt off. That's your business. And then it progressed to, you take your shirt off and you take your pants off. But me knowing me, I know that's not right. So I'm like, I'm not taking my clothes off. And I'll just, you know, play. But I don't want to take my shirt off. I want to take my pants off because my mom wouldn't like that. So, long story short, he ended up laying me down on his bed or whatever. And he told me not to say nothing. And so he get on top of me and just start filling up on me. I ain't have nothing, but he just filling up on me or whatever. And I felt uncomfortable, and I'll just let him do what he was going to do. And after that, I ran to tell his sister because she was a big girl. So I'm like, I'm about to tell on you. I'm about to tell your sister. I ain't tell him this, but this was my thought, and I'm crying. I go in there to tell her what's going on, and she was like, you don't have to go in there with him no more. I don't want you to play with him by yourself. I'm going to tell on him, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, no, don't tell. I don't want him to get a whooping and all that stuff. And I continued to go over there. I didn't tell my mom nothing. I just continued to go over there. And one night he was gone, but she was there. And we were sitting there watching movies and stuff in her bed. And she told me to sit on her lap. And so I sat on her lap because, you know, I didn't think nothing of it. And so she kind of like leaned back in the bed with her hands like this. So I'm just sitting on her lap. We watching movies. So then she started taking my back and started like pushing it forward and pulling me back. Pushing me forward, pulling me back. I don't know. I'm thinking it's a horse ride. Like I said, I'm 6. I'm not thinking any sexual type of way. So she gets to... Sorry, y'all. I'm getting all shaky. She started getting to pushing me in, pulling me back, pushing me in, and then she was like, now you try to do it by yourself. And I'm just sitting there like, okay, you know, shit, I'm just doing it. But then I realized that she's starting to, like, touch me like her brother was touching me. And I'm just like, what the... Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe this is how they show love in their family. Like, maybe this is normal and I'm the one tripping. Like, maybe I'm the nigga that's out here just tripping. So I didn't look at it at that point as something that was wrong, even though my mama told me, good touch, bad touch. If somebody do this to you, if you don't feel right, you tell a grown up. At this time, I felt like this was a brother, this was a sister. They must always do this. And if I go and say something, I'm going to look stupid because they're going to be like, girl, we always do that. Not knowing this is something that's not normal. So from the age of 6 to about 8, when we moved to Minnesota, every time I went over there, like every weekend, it just, something happened. It didn't necessarily have to be all extreme, but something happened. And I would say, like, when I was like 7.5, their dad had an accident or whatever, and or so we was told. I don't know if he left their mama or what, but we told it was an accident, and we just didn't see him no more. And that's when it got worse. Like, when people, like, when we was in high school and stuff, and people would talk about, like, threesomes and shit, I used to be like, who the fuck would want to do some nasty ass shit like that? Because I just thought back at the times where they would just, like, literally take turns, like, coming in there with me. And I knew my mom was going through her personal stuff, so that's part of the reason why I ain't say nothing to her, because I'm just like, well, why would I say something to her? She already going through her problems, you know what I'm saying? She depressed. She just want to go out and have a good time. So I don't want to, you know, put something in her ear to make her be upset with her friend, or not make her want to go to the club and have her a good time, because she deserved that. And, you know, this is all of me processing this type of stuff at 6, 7, 8 years old. Like, even though the people around me, my family, my, you know, my grandma, my aunties, my uncles, my daddy telling me, don't hold your tongue. You better tell somebody if this is going on, if that's going on. It's just like, you want to tell somebody, but then it's like, I don't want to get caught up in some shit. I don't want them to get caught up in no shit either, but I just want you to stop doing it altogether. Like, I just don't want you to do that no more. So once we moved back to Minnesota, whatever, and when I was 8, and we ended up moving back down to Chicago, Joliet or whatever, I ain't really see them like that no more, so it wasn't a big problem. But it was something that I harbored in me as a little girl, even as I got older in school, like something that I just felt like everybody saw on me, like somebody messed with you. Like, I don't know, like, you shouldn't as a victim feel bad, but at the same time, it's just something that like you just feel like you're a white t-shirt as a child, and for somebody to do something like that, it's like a red handprint on you, and no matter where you go, that red handprint is always going to be there. And I just felt like everybody saw that red handprint on me, even though, you know, nobody really knew. But I didn't tell nobody until I started dating my first boyfriend in high school. And just one day was randomly on the phone, and I just, you know, was telling him why I felt a certain way about kissing and being all touchy and all that, because I ain't like that. I just didn't like it. And so when I started telling him what happened to me or whatever, he just was like, that's crazy. Like, I can't believe something like that happened. Like, even my best friend, Triana, didn't even know. At that point, she didn't find out till we was like 16, almost 17 years old. Like, I just didn't want to tell nobody. But to go backwards, I did tell my mom one time, just on some, she was going to the club. I ain't want her to go to the club because I ain't want to go over there. And she was like, You such a liar. You don't want me to have a life. You just hateful. You don't love me. And even to this day, that shit broke me. Like, as a kid, you look and you hear your mama say, like, you better tell me if somebody doing that to you, because I'll fuck somebody up. Like, you know your mama killed for you. But then for her to turn around and say to you, like, man, fuck what you talking about. I'm going to the club. I'm about to go do my own thing. You just trying to stop my shine. Like, who the fuck would want to stop your shine? Like, nobody wants to stop your shine, but somebody is doing something to your child and you're not even there. Like, even at that point, my dad moved to Minnesota, so we down there by ourselves or whatever. And after I got that reaction from my mom, I'm like, shit, I ain't telling nobody else nothing. I keep that shit to myself. And so I just, like, I get real overprotective with my kids. And my daughter felt like she had one of those moments, y'all. And as a mother, that shit killed me when she came to me and said somebody kissed her in the wrong way. Like, that shit was just nasty and bogus to me. And, like, nobody understood what I was, like, trying to say when I was like, like my baby coming to me saying some shit like that. Like, I don't like the way such and such kissed me. Like, she fucking 6. That's the same age that shit happened to me. And for her to come up to me, I felt like I gotta be better than my mom in that situation. Like, I ain't never gonna tell my daughter, like, fuck what you talk about. I don't give a fuck if she said a teddy bear touched her. I'm still gonna be there for her. Like, and people was like, oh, you went too ham over the situation. You thinking about your own personal experience. You damn right. You know how many kids get touched on all the time? The person that emailed me, I'm not even going to say the young man's name, but the young man told me his fucking teacher tried to touch him. His teacher, fam. His fucking teacher. Like, what? And y'all want me to just... That's just not cool. Like, I just feel like in the black community, we just sit back and we let shit like that happen. Like, I don't give a fuck if it was my damn daddy. Somebody, my kids tell me somebody touched them inappropriate, y'all gonna see me on the news. Because there ain't no explanation for that. And I fucking work with sex offenders every fucking night. 12 hours a night. I do bed checks on sex offenders. Motherfuckers that mess with their kids, their cousins and shit like that. But you know what? Somebody fuck with them too. I'm not making no excuses because you deserve what you get. You need to be in jail for doing some nasty shit like that. Because you got a mind to tell you not to do no shit like that. But I'm just serious. Like, that shit's sick. As a child, should no child go through that. And if any of y'all kids have that problem, please get them help. Because they're going to be fucked up. I know I was fucked up for a long time. I just wanted my parents to pay for me going through that shit. Don't let your kids go through that shit alone. That shit is not okay. It's just not. And I pray for anybody that go through that. Even if you grown and you went through that, go get you some therapy. That shit, I'm telling y'all, that shit still to this day fucks with me. And I just pray that I'm okay. I just pray that I hope that I help somebody else with my story. Because I know, as hard as it is for me to talk about it, if you personally going through that, you know what that feels like. You know my pain. You ain't alone. Don't be afraid. I'm not no judgmental person. You can come talk to me if you want to. Go talk to somebody, though, because that shit will eat you alive. It'll tear you up as a person that you are. I have to tell myself every day that I'm a good person, that I'm somebody. Why? Because somebody that didn't know better mentally in their own self as a child of them own, I don't know, somebody touched them when they was little. They turned around and put that pain on me and I didn't release it. I just hope this video helps somebody. Because then I feel like it wasn't all in vain.